Hello, 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 everyone. Father Aaron here, the Dungeon Minister, and we're live, which I haven't been in quite some time. So, hello. It's good to see we've got some folks out there already. Lovely to see you. Hello, Telemachus, and hello, dice. The dice that are that were the card, the thumbnail for this video. Those are the dice that I had when I was a teenager, and that I still have now. And that are my dice, my one and only dice that I use for gaming. Not for gaming, for DMing. I use other dice when I'm the player, but those are the ones. So make sure I'm actually up now. I have not done a live stream with just straight through Facebook for a while. So I don't even know if this is working. Frankly, I have no idea if it's even working. So I should look on there we go. Hello, Robert Stanton. Does my order consider Saint Christopher a saint? Yes, Christopher is a ancient saint. He's quite old, and so the Undivided Church shares Christopher. Christopher and Patrick and Nicholas and Julian of Norwich and etc. Once you come to the Great Schism, then East and West start to develop their own canons. They again share everything previous to the schism, but everything post schism, they'll start to develop their own canons. And then once the Reformation happens, well, all bets are off. I look like a ghost. I'm going to try to warm up the light a little bit to make it look like I'm healthy. I'm not, but I want to make it look like I am. Let's see. Oh, now I look a little sallow. Well, that may be the best option. Maybe I'll just turn it down a little bit so it's not quite so. No, that is as far down as it goes. Just tip the light. That helps. Now I look tired. That's true. I am. Tube chip. Hello, Mark. You're taking a trip to Florida and you get a blessing. Absolutely. Hello, Geeky Catholic. Gonzalo, is Gonzalo your actual first name? What's your first name? I never know with people's online personas. It can be a dicey question. Sean, very good. Well then, Sean, let us pray. Gracious God, give your blessing to Sean for traveling mercies. May the road be safe and smooth. May the faces he meets be friendly and welcoming and open. May his trip be fruitful and relaxing, and may he return home safe. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. I hope you have a very good trip, John. While you're in Florida, what are you doing down there? Is this for pleasure, for business, for pleasurable business? What are you heading out down there for? Hello, Sonic Decay. You're very welcome. Very welcome. I've got friends down in Florida. They're only internet friends, but they're friends nonetheless. Checking out retirement states. Excellent. Very good place to retire, I understand, except for hurricane season. It's good for retirement until it's not, and then it's really not. But then it gets okay again. So, and the hurricanes aren't as bad as it looks like on the news because, of course, they send the camera to the worst possible place, right? So, lovely. Well, I know if you're looking in the, I've forgotten the name of the city. Terrible. Not Tampa. Oh, not Pensacola. Oh, good heavens. Where is Delver? Where does Delver live? I can't remember. Oh, okay, so you're having dinner with Delver one night, so you know where he lives better than I do. I can't remember the name of the city. It's terrible. Alzheimer's does not run in my family. It gallops. So, what is the name of that city? It's in the middle of the state. It's not on one of the coasts. It's right in the middle there, down further south. Orlando. if you're in the Orlando area. But you're already going to hook up with Delver. That's excellent. That's excellent. Good man. Good man. And DM James is down there too. I think close to Orlando, if not in Orlando. Yeah, active city for it. Oh, your old stomping grounds, Elder Goblin. Hello, Elder Goblin Games. What are the Elder Goblins playing these days? I tell you, my younger goblins are playing all sorts of things. I actually just got back from my in-person game, which used to be the friendly local game shop game. We started playing at the game shop, but then the hours there got harder, and um, frankly, the food there was expensive. Um, so we started meeting at the parish. So now there's the parish game, which is sort of open to parishioners and people in the community, and other priests bring their kids and grandkids to play. But then there's another game that is a circle of friends. It also has a member of the community in it, but we play at the parish. So it's a lot of D&D being played at that church. Shadowdark and Seven Delving Sins. Hello, Shona. How you doing? Long time no see. Good evening to you too. Long time no see because I have not been live streaming recently. We had, well, first of all, I had a winter. It was the winter of my discontent, uh, partly just because of busyness, and a lot of that was good busyness. We have done 10 baptisms since the Easter Vigil, the great vigil of Easter, the night before Easter Sunday, right? And when the church has it, it's really the most beautiful liturgy we have all year. The church starts in darkness, and we light the new fire outside the church. And from the new fire, the Paschal candle is lit, and the Paschal candle is processed into the church. And as it goes, it stops 3 times with the chant, "The light of Christ, the light of Christ, the light of Christ." And each time it stops, people light their candles from the Paschal candle. They have hand tapers. And so the light spreads out through the church. It just gets lighter and lighter. This is Jesus bursting from the tomb, right? And then there's readings and songs, like chant and more readings, lots of readings. And then when the gospel's proclaimed, the lights come on. But we did baptisms at the vigil, 2 adults, a 20-year-old and a 30-year-old. And then Pentecost and Trinity Sunday, we had 5 baptisms and 4 baptisms. We couldn't do them on the same Sunday because if they invited family, we wouldn't fit in the church. Literally wouldn't fit in the church. Holds about 150. We had 98 on Trinity Sunday. Duncan in the dark. There's regular gaming going on in the Glen. Lots of gaming in the Glen. Glenn Williams, for those who don't know. And the reason you may want to know is because of Claricon. Claricon, our annual gaming convention, with an old school squint to it, an old school slant, but it not exclusive. We'll let you play whatever you want to play, but we do have a kind of theme, a little flavor of old school going on. Hey-yo, Squirrel Hermit, one of the best folks on the world there. Best folks on the internet and in the world. I'm happy to. You have your own baptism. Oh, Retromaniac James, God bless you. God bless you. That's so wonderful. Congratulations. Yes, indeed, we had, as I said, the 20-year-old and the 30-year-old, and then a bunch of babies. But on Trinity Sunday, there was 1 baby and 2 like little kids, like 1.5, and then a young woman, early 20s. So it's been interesting. It's actually been really interesting lately. Everyone's taking the summer off gaming in your circles. Well, yeah, I kind of took this winter off because like I said, it was busy. And it was I don't know, you're going down to Florida. I don't know where you are now, but here in Ontario, the winter was miserable. We got more snow last year. We got it in like 3 big dumps last year. This year it just kept coming and coming and coming, and it was dreadful. So we didn't do much gaming because I did not have the energy. I'd be in my chair back there and just I had no energy. Sunday afternoon, generally when we game as a family, and I just no, I couldn't. I had nothing left in the tank. Planned for Carrickland, everything planned. They got oh man, that stinks. Sure enough, that stinks. Um, Clara Johns from the Dungeon Crawler. Good to see you too, Squirrel. Good to see you too. Earl. If you haven't checked out Squirrel Hermit's YouTube channel, check it out. I know other people in the chat have them too. Lived in northern Quebec in the early. Oh well, now that is winter. You'll be 46 in August. Oh bless you. You're Mike a little younger than me. You're a kid. You're about 7 years younger than me, but in my cohort, I baptized a fellow. This was years ago now, 6-7 years ago. He was in his mid 50s then, and he'd grown up in the Glen on the banks of the Credit River, and he wanted to be baptized in the river. He said, "I want to be baptized." I said, "Okay." He said, "I want to be baptized in the river." And this was early April, and I said, "Well, we better wait till summer then, otherwise we'll have your funeral the next week." So we that summer we baptized him. He wanted full immersion. I'm like, okay, because the church is in our parish sits our church grounds sits in the bend of a river down in this valley, the Glen. And you can see up the hill, there's a cemetery at the top of the hill, and there's an old wooden cross that someone set up there years ago. So it overlooks the whole valley. It's a lovely place. There's this little beach on the river, and it gets really deep in this one spot. So I went in, oh, you're ready. Another fellow was on the bank taking pictures, and there's a picture of me bringing this guy out. And the look on his face is like, oh, he didn't think it was going to be that cold in August, but it was. It was. So 46. Well, there you go. Never too late. Just ask Constantine. I jest. See, now in the Anglican Church, it's a one-time thing. It's done once. We do it. It's called the renewal of baptismal vows. So, for instance, at the Great Vigil of Easter, people renew. Everyone has the chance to renew their baptismal vows. It's done communally, but then anyone can also do it individually. I had someone. She was late in life. She'd been baptized, but had a long time away from the church, and she just felt like she should do something to sort of claim it. And I said, well, there's communion. As I said, Alzheimer's doesn't run; it gallops in my family. Confirmation, yeah, confirmation. She had confirmation. And so I offered that. I said, "Oh, the renewal of baptismal vow." Thank you, sure enough. I got there just before you typed it. I am. Well, I am. I'm. You can see the bags under the eyes. It does. It looks like I'm wearing, like I'm going for a goth chick look or something. But she said, when I go into confirmation, it's gonna be a lot of teenagers. It's gonna be a little weird, So she just went with the renewal of baptism. I was confirmed as an adult, but it was all adults in the class and all adults at the cathedral that year. But yeah, so it was the kind of thing. So she did a renewal of baptismal vows, and we did it liturgically. We did a whole catechesis beforehand, leading up to it, etc. Your brain is with your liver, living under an assumed name due to abuse. Did it in the 80s. Oh dear. I got one back when I was way younger, not remember it. First I remember doing. Still it yourself. Very good. Okay. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. You know what? It is. So I didn't have any usually when I did these I would paint and things like that. I'm not painting tonight. I had thought of I went and got at a dollar store one of these boxes. It's a hexagon box, and I stuck sort of this camera actually does it. Yeah, I stuck a little ring and a bead on top of it, and filled the hole in the bead in with a bamboo skewer. And I was going to paint it up. Put it in the inside. I put a bit of felt. I was going to make it into a little dice box and paint it up. and I'm still going to at some point, and that probably will be a live stream, but not now, not now. It has a top and bottom. Yeah. It has an inside and an outside too. How many sides does the house have? You count the inside and the outside? Hey, come on. Okay, I think I need to switch from water to black fly. Black fly, it's delicious. Is any sponsors watching? I want to do commercials for black fly. I do enjoy it. It's what I have when I'm grilling outside. But this was the last one left. I don't think there's any grilling in my immediate future. And if I drink this one, then my wife will buy more when she wants me to grill. So I was going to do tonight, because I normally do some painting. What's this? I don't have a huge desk, but I do want to do. Do should throw it up there. I do want to organize my bloody DM bag. And really what I want to do is go through all my stuff, because I don't have a huge shelf of stuff. I have some. You can see past the. Let's turn this. There's a little bit of stuff in here, and a lot of these books are missing because, frankly, my boys have taken them. Baptism of Fire was there. Conan was there. A number of things were there, and they have taken them away to go do things with them. I don't know what they're doing with them. You can see Paint Minis Live made this very awesome. Oh, that's so cool. Horde of the Damned. A bunch of undead. But anyway, so I don't have but I do have my DM bag just chock-a-block with stuff. And I have the family game, the game shop game. I have a game online monthly for patrons. And then the parish game, and then the occasional pickup games here and there. Hey there, Stephen Kennedy. So, and because I'm lazy, and I mean lazy as a DM, all of these are set in the same world, the same setting, at the same time. Well, including the ones I do for Claricon, including the ones I do for Bill Sylvie's the Dungeon Delvers Guac, great overland, a great online at the moment gaming convention. All of those are in the same setting. So I'll pull something from one folder or binder, say, oh great, I'll use that in this game, and then I will forget to bring it back. So tonight at the game shop game, which is no longer at the game shop, I wanted the map of the city. I didn't have it. No idea where I put it. So I had to go hunting for it. So I couldn't find it. So I want to clear the whole thing out and figure out where everything is. Throw away things I don't need, or file them or something. To keep up on the comments here. Updated painting and miniature space running. I say, but do put that on the Discord. Similar to what I've used for hidden rolls. Let the players put their dice in, shake it, and then I look at the result and then shake it up and when giving it back. That's cool. That's cool. I like that, because then it's still their dice. That's nice. That's nice. Jealous of those who still play in person and use real minis. VTTs are better, yeah, but I gotta say though, the in-person is fun. Tonight was funny because some time ago, one of the players, the magic user, found a cursed book, and he read it and he failed his save. And so he was cursed, and I had to slip him a note that you read this book about a priest of the god of death. It's a sort of biography and wisdom of this priest of the god of death, and you become entranced by it, and you begin to follow this person. You begin to adhere to his teachings, and you will eventually try to kill the other members of the party. That's the curse. And he played very well. The whole group played the dynamic very well. I mean, they understood something was happening, and so we it came to a part. He started working with this. There's a couple of thieves guilds in the city that they're playing in, and he teamed up with a thuggish thieves guild, and that thieves guild raided the other one's hideout because, of course, he knew where it was. He knew all the secret ways in because they had been allies. They're the party with this thieves group, and so they went in and the big fight, and he was going to double cross the thug who led that thieves guild to try to take it over. Like, oh well, he died in the combat. I guess I'm next in command. So he fires a fireball, ends up killing their main ally in the good guy thief guild, who was the love interest of another player. She wasn't really like she wasn't really, but the other players teased this one guy that, oh yeah, you're going to go see your girlfriend again. He just wanted information. He always wanted to know what was going on. So, oh, you're seeing your girlfriend again, and so the player just decided to agree with it, go along with it. So tonight, he's a cleric and he casts Speak with the Dead to talk to that thug who had died later. He'd escaped the fireball, and asked him, who killed the Wren? It's the name of the Thieves Guild leader. Who killed the Wren? And, the voice comes back from the dead. That traitor, Borum Ghosts. What? Big explosion at the table. It was hilarious. It was fun. West Walk-esque. I need you to let me know what minis you may need up. Oh, bless you. If it's a new 3D printed movie minis for. Oh, bless you. Bless you. You know what? I tend to use what I get. There's things that I'm always keen on. Uh, hobgoblins, but the thing is, of course, I already have some hobgoblins, so they kind of, if they don't match, then it's like the Klingons from the TV series, and then the Klingons from the movies and the Next Generation. You're like, well, those were genetically altered Klingons to fit in with you. Anyway, it was the makeup department didn't have the capacity to do prosthetics back then, but yeah. So I tend to be like, I roll with whatever comes along. I happened to get a whole bunch of the same kind of orcs, which was great because I had orc wars happening. But all my D&D memorabilia is stored in multiple totes. My Dragonlance and Forgotten Realms novels are in multiple boxes. No room on the shelves. Oh man, hey, I am always ready to build new shelves. Might be a little far to ship them though. I don't know where you live, but yeah, we've got. I mean, you can see behind me. That's just mostly my books. The boys have a huge shelf in the other room. I just built a new set of shelves with a bench that runs along a whole wall for storage underneath, because they still, Bob Johnny is younger and still plays with like toys, right? Not a lot, but he still does. And so all those are under there. And then I come home the other day and my wife is assembling a bookshelf unit that she got from Amazon or something. I'm like, I could have built that. But anyway, oh well, it's faster if she buys it. I'll say that. I do build it eventually, but I am a little slow. Good evening, Mobius. I have a PC in my game that's being corrupted by a dagger that has a shard of a necromancer trapped inside of it. Cool. An HD range? Oh yeah. 4 to 6. They fight. Oh, they fight that and bigger. God bless you. God bless you. I wonder if there's any specific thing that. I've got a few ogres. A few ogres. I have Chimera. don't have a. No. Yeah. What would I just think about where they are? Well, try to project where they might be, which is impossible because I'll say, oh, they'll probably go this way, and then they'll go that way. But Quantum Ogres. Yes, I did watch DS9. I did. God bless you. God bless you, Shonuff. I will definitely do an unboxing. Those are. It's always like Christmas when they show up because I don't know what's in them, right? I don't know. Even if I have a general idea, I don't know exactly what's in them. It's always like Christmas. Thank you, Jay Taylor. Hey, Midnight Slayer. How are you doing? How you doing, Midnight Slayer? Another great channel there. Go check it out. Midnight Slayer is in the superhero gaming world, and we have got some superhero gaming happening at Claricon. Bear, the Gen X GM, is coming to do his Heroic. It's 5e version of Heroic, so that's going to be pretty cool. I think 2 of my boys are signed up to play in it. Yeah, I think they're. But if you haven't, by the way, I will just mention because I do need to, I do need to sell a con. Not a con as in a confidence trick. I mean a con as in a convention. I'm going to just, again, it's in the description as well. I will be doing more paint and talk. I was in the middle of explaining to myself more than anything. There's the Claricon RSVPFI registration site. I am going to be doing some painting after my winter of discontent and all the busyness around things. Then our internet got really spotty, and every day it would crash out for half an hour at a time, 45 minutes. Even if it crashed out for 10 minutes, it would destroy a live stream. It would just blow it up. That would be it. It'd be over, right? And so I didn't want to live stream during that. I'd been really busy, and then I got to that, and things were calming down, and then that happened, and then it picked up again. Now the internet seems to be stable. This is tonight was essentially what this is sort of a test run to see how it goes, because it hasn't been stable for that long now, and I just want to make sure. Anyway, can I open this bag? Come on. Bring it up here. Hoi! Good heavens. This thing's heavy. Doing okay. Channel's been on a hiatus. Yeah, I did notice that. Well, you got real life back on track. Oh, bless you. I hope it's back on track, or at least, it's in the rail yard and in one of the sidings and preparing to be hooked up to the rest of the train. Make sure there's nothing in here. No. Okay. So, as I was saying earlier, I'm going to I'm going to make do a little organization. And being a pastor would make a good cover for a confidence game. Hello, Shadow and Sun. How are things out on the sunny West Coast? And not only would it make a good cover for running a confidence game, it has, not with me, but with other people. So, I'll do, because my face is only so much entertainment to be had there. I'm just going to go through all my stuff and make sure I haven't lost things in anywhere. Okay. Well, this is my Dungeon Masters guides, etc. And the sticker is from Kwood Publishing. They're very fun. They publish books. It's default geared toward 5e, but they include they're very easy to convert to other systems, and they include all the material you need to convert it to other systems. The boys love their monster books. They've got, especially Bob Johnny, he really digs them. Stuck in the roundabout. Oh gosh, I know that feeling. Sunny and hot, but all is well. Getting ready for Jackie's post-graduation game. Post-graduation, my heavens. How they grow. They grow up so fast. I've got some empty character sheets, just waiting for character deaths to demand filling in. That still happens in the parish game because we have a couple of players who are very, very reckless. Okay, I'm gonna have to reprint some things because that's not on. It's not staying in its binder anymore. Clearly the fighter page has been used. Do you know why that one's been used? Because the store is on the other side. But 18 and driving the next month. So hey, you know what? Fleetwood is 16 and we're doing driving lessons with him. And it is the most frightening thing in the world because I remember when he was 1 and could barely walk. Okay, I'm gonna print the first few pages of the expert book too. Gotta print the first few pages of the expert book too. So, greetings, Flintfire Forge. How are you doing? Yeah, you know, that's sure enough though that they're like a few hundred pages in here. So that's a lot of plastic sleeves. That's a lot of plastic sleeves. I should. This one I didn't. I hit print before I realized it was on single side. What a waste, eh? I should reprint it and just reprint it. Well, I don't have to reprint the companion because the companion, you can see those holes aren't torn yet because hardly anyone ever gets to the companion book. I know like a handful of people who ever played their way into that book. Usually campaigns die somewhere in the expert. Okay. There's upside down. Anyway. Oh no, it's open on both ends. I should tape one of these ends closed. Okay, those are fine. It's really the other stuff. This is my like there's another copy of the player's manual here. I think it's just the player's manual. No, it's not. It's not it's the cover. Oh, that wasn't in the other one. But then it's the siege equipment and the war machine and stuff like that. That's just siege equipment. Good heavens. From the companion book. I don't know why I printed out a separate siege equipment section. Why did I do that? But here I have it. Top loading sheet protectors. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I know what you mean. Oh, bless you. Oh, sure enough, you don't have to do it. You're laid off. You should guard your money. But thank you. I appreciate the offer. I'm going to have a chip. Daughter just graduated to pediatrician residency. Oh my gosh. Where did the time go indeed? My heavens. I'm freaked out enough that Fleetwood is already talking about careers. He's looking at being a paramedic, which is wild. Oh man. The original map of Honeywood. Yeah, it's got to stay in there. This, the region around Honeywood. Notice I cut this off because there were secrets there, and I didn't want the players to know because this is what I handed to them. That they could use. I didn't want there were certain things I didn't want them to know what was up there. Oh, this is the original. When they first went to the keep, I made this map, and the Great Northern Sea. I guess it actually would be this way. The Great Northern Sea is here. The river flows up into it. No, it flows down from it. Duh, other way around. And the keep is there, and it's old. I actually printed out a picture for the mayor of Honeywood. What's his name? It's right there. Yeah, Davith. Davith's gone. And the Honeywood's coat of arms. Sulex Ortmeyer, rest in peace. And Rupert, the crazed druid. And Sir Trevor, the fighter. It was fun when we started. Sir Trevor was 3rd level. And, the boys starting out first level. And Trevor was a figure of power and authority. Of course, now they've passed him. But I even have Sir Trevor's stuff That's and Sir Trevor's coat of arms. Sir Trevor's house. Wow, you can tell that I started this game during lockdowns and I had nothing but time on my hands. A series soon on Beckme, and your goal is to get as far as you can through solo play. Jackie's probably going into the National Guard. Excellent. Flint Fireforge, I'm just now starting to get into the solo gaming for RPG games. There's I don't mean to keep harping on about Claricon, but Tale of the Manticore is going to run a how to play a GM-less game or a DM-less game. And I think it's geared towards solo play, but it might be geared toward group play as well, which might be interesting. How to play without someone organizing things. Roll VVT game tomorrow, playing second, then Roll TV Castles and Crusades. And you face-to-face on Sunday, DMing second edition. Indeed, congrats to your Shadow and when everyone's up there. First-time viewer, blessed be Father. Oh, God bless you. Thank you, Grandizer 12. Sorry, it's not your name, it's my glasses. I can't read terribly well. It was embarrassing yesterday in church. I couldn't see the missal, the altar missal, and I'm saying the canon of the Mass. And we had just switched to a different Eucharistic prayer for the summer. And I've prayed it years previous, but it's been a while. It's been since last fall that we prayed it. And I just got lost because I can't see very well. Yeah. So 6 parts using Solo Dark. All the D&D books and PDFs and carry my refurbished laptop to my games. Yeah. I have them in PDFs. I don't like using a screen during the game. I use a screen all the time at home, but during the game I like to have a book. It also helps to be able to just hand the thing over, right? But holy 100 gigabytes of files. Wow. There you go. This is Vicar Supple. Yeah, he's the priest in Honeywood. Good heavens. Sister Abigail, Jenny Green Teeth. Oh, that's such a weird stuff. Lizard Man. Not Lizard Folk, Lizard Man. Grouchy. I don't know why I have to picture the Lizard Man in there. I mean, we use minis now. When I first started, I would print these pictures out because we weren't using minis at first. Mother, do you live stream video game here, or are you mostly D&D? You know what? I've never been a video gamer. I may become one because Touchberry is now writing code for video games and stuff. He makes little video games. Bob Johnny does it too. They make little video games. Actually, their artwork is really, really, really good. It is this. I can't describe it, but I should get some screenshots and post it on social media and stuff to show the kind of stuff they're doing. It's really well designed. The character is very, very, very graphically simple, but really engaging. It's cute. It's cute and spooky at the same time. Yeah, live stream video. So I don't do video games. The last video game I played was Riven, which isn't really a video game. It's a slideshow. Yeah, I was never really a video game player. I did for one summer. I played an NBA Live video game because I was following the Utah Jazz, and I had a summer at a summer stock theaters when I was an actor. A summer stock theater in Wisconsin, Shakespeare classical theater, the countryside, and so I had a lot of time on my hands. So I did a lot of that stuff then. Oh, here it is. It's right there. This is the map I was looking for today. I have it digitally. and this is in pretty bad shape. But this is it says Farwater because I used a random map generator, and it just names it. I didn't know at the time that you can take all these things off. I would have if I'd known. It's called Belesior in my game. Free City is all that means. So let's see. Yes, I usually do audience feedback talk, this kind of thing, where I read the chat and talk, and I'll do something that hopefully is of some interest to people. I don't know if this is of any interest. This can't be in here though, because I don't use this. The family game, they're further north. The online game, it's online, so it's electronic, so I don't need it there. Let's see. Oh, this is my Don John. Yeah, no, not Don John. This is what is it? Watabu, my DM screen. But yeah, Don John does well too. Does good stuff too. This is like a city. He has a dungeon generator, but he also has a city generator and all sorts of stuff. Now this I know is in pretty good shape because its family game is run out of this, and we did play not so long ago. I don't. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, that's where those went. You know what? I'm going to take these out. I've got a bunch of character sheets. I'm going to put them in the player's handbook binder, because if you're rolling a new character, you're using that anyway, aren't you? Yes, you are. Let's see. Are you the youth leaders? If so, you. No, I am the rector of the parish, but it's a small parish, so we don't have a youth leader. We have me, and we don't have a children's ministry leader. We have me, and we don't have a dedicated pastor for the elderly. We have me, so I'm the everything. It's just a single clergy parish. Although I do have a couple of really well, actually now. A trio of really dedicated lay leaders who take leadership roles in the liturgy, and they're quite talented folks. So I'm blessed that way. We don't need that. It's a nice, but I don't need that. But I'll take the prayers anyway, because I am all of the. I mostly played AD&D Second Edition, and we never used miniatures, just drawing on random papers for maps. And that was what I did when we played back in the day. I use minis now because gaming with kids, less so now, but when we started, the visual really helped keep, especially Bob Johnny, the youngest, engaged. This is kind of cool. I don't know what it is. Well, I do know what it is. Actually, this is a map that Fleetwood drew some years ago, and he just drew it for fun, and I like it. I liked it, so I asked him for it, and it'll probably show up in an adventure. So if you're, I know exactly where that's going to show up. Never mind. I'm going to go up here and try to catch up on the comments. Riven was a good game. Yes, it was. The second game, yep. I played Myst first, and then Riven. Riven was so, Riven is to Myst, what steak is to a McDonald's hamburger. Myst was fun. I liked Myst. I really enjoyed it. But boy, Riven was crazy. I'm always the most interesting. Oh dear, squirrel. I golly gosh, I guess is all I can say to that. It's for sure enough. Okay. I asked about the live gaming because I've been following Father William Kessler, Catholic priest who plays Mech Warrior and Elite Dangerous 5 days a week. Good heavens, he's out of Indiana. Hey there, Bob Jester, how you doing? I have a 3D printer now, so you've been planning to make a ton of ministers or miniatures? Probably miniatures, but it would be hilarious if you made a bunch of ministers. But the painting them is what stops me. Yeah, you know what? I'm famously bad about painting. Well, this is Bargle. Bargle and Avalio, kobolds and skeletons, all sorts of stuff there. This is some other players. Okay, I do need these in there. These are their backup sheets. Oh, I have the music, the soundtrack CDs as well for Myst and Riven. They're fabulous, and I have used them for tabletop games. When they went into Bargle's Tower, actually, we had music playing just for mood setting. It was fun. I probably do need to hang on to that. Another chip. Youth group has played GM-less game. Join them as a player, and we used 4 Against the Dark to generate the dungeon. Cool. That's all good stuff. You know, there's so much good stuff. I should put this back in there. I really should. Someone remind me that I put my stats for Bargle in the purple folder. Purple folder, back pocket, back of the stack. You remember that? You remember that? Okay. A drink. Blackfly. It's so refreshing. All right. This is where things tend to go downhill. Just have stacks and stacks and stacks of paper. And here's I didn't grow up in the Great Depression, but you'd think I did, because I look at this and it's just scratch paper, right? Perfectly good paper. I can't throw it out. Oh, this happened. I don't know what I was trying to do, but I ended up printing off a whole bunch of the back page ads from one of probably the basic book, or I think the basic book. I don't know how I got all these copies of the back page of ads, but I did. So here we go. Scrap paper. Unselfish plug there from the official drink of Father Aaron. You know, it kind of is. Hello, Yang. How are you doing? Yang is going to be at Claricon running the fabulous Empire of the Undying Sun. So that is awesome. It does look like Dragon Magazine ads, but I know it's from one of the books. I just don't remember which one. Because at the back of it, because it's all TSR stuff. At the back they would have, and they do have an ad for Dragon Magazine. And I wonder what you would if you wrote to that today. RPGA HQ Box 509 C183 Lake Geneva, Wisconsin 53147. Who owns that postal box now? You know, would you get an angry letter back? Quit writing me letters. You know, and you get Amazing Magazine subscription, right? You know, just write to them and say, I'd like information about the Star Frontiers game, please. I've always thought that you find an old comic book and it has those things for only $1. You can get these plastic soldiers, you know. And if you sent away from them, they were garbage. But clipping the little thing out, filling it in, and sending it in with $1 now, what would they even do? There was no cutoff date on it. I suppose it said while supplies last. They could always say they ran out of supplies. This is put together from the game I just played, the Game Shop game that's no longer played in the game. All the various NPCs that have come in and out and come and gone. And good heavens. I think a lot of this is the Iron Brotherhood with the thugs. And just stat lines for NPCs, but they're all on these scraps of paper. I've got to gather them together. Okay. Uvidende and Dwas, those were their henchmen for a while, and our pizza order. Tomato, jalapeno, pepperoni, that's me. Malcolm likes bacon. Gabe and Allie like pepperoni, sausage, and bacon. And Kevin, question mark. What does Kevin like? No idea. Okay, there's a few things here I don't know. This may be, well, no, I got one. I saw Maz Cortuda, one of my magic user NPCs. Malthon was the thug. He just died tonight. The thug finally bought it. he was going to be hanged as the party caught him and brought him to justice, and he was set to be hanged. But at the execution, his lieutenant shows up and fireballs the platform he was on, including him. But she's not trying to kill him. She knows he can take it because he's pretty strong. It kills everyone around him, and it fries the rope that's around his neck, and he's free, and he tries to escape. But the cleric hold person, and he missed the save by one. Kind of looks like the answer to Father Aaron, may I ask? You may. When you hear this term, what's your take? Okay. Man lives in the sunlit world of what he believes to be reality, but there is, unseen by most, an underworld, a place that is just as real, but not as brightly lit, a dark side. I have heard that before. I can't remember where I heard it. I will say I am firmly in the camp of G.K. Chesterton and C.S. Lewis, believing that the world needs re-enchantment. There's a wonderful Anglican priest by the name of Malcolm Guite. It's Guite. Malcolm Guite, Guite. And if I say Malcolm Guite enough times, maybe YouTube will automatically put a link down below saying, people talked about in this video, Malcolm Guite. Father Guite is, he's lovely and really, really keen on the re-enchantment of the world. Hang on. I'll turn up the gain a little bit. And I personally, I've always loved Halloween. And I love it because it encourages people to consider the possibility that we don't see everything, that there is a hidden world. Now, in the Halloween terms, it's a hidden world of horror and spookiness, right? I've never gone in for the gory part of Halloween. I think that's gross. But the strange things just beyond our sight that we cannot know or understand. It's delightful. There's Chesterton talking about the fairies at the bottom of the garden, right? Which aren't there because we don't believe they're there, but they're there. That the world is, well, Hamlet's words to his friends. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than you've dreamt of, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. And absolutely true. Absolutely true. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. The world is a far more mysterious place than we allow it to be. And I preached this at Trinity Sunday because, of course, the doctrine of the Trinity is mysterious. And people run across the doctrine of the Trinity and they don't understand it, and it confuzzles them, and so they'll dismiss it. And people will, in general, dismiss the mysterious, dismiss the divine, because they don't understand it. And my thought is the arrogance of saying, I don't understand it, so it doesn't exist, right? I can't wrap my head around it, so it must not be. If that were true, if the only things that existed were things that I understood, there would be no women. There would be no computers. There would be no cars. But clearly these things are. Anyway, here endeth the lesson. Pointless sheet of cardboardy paper, not thick enough for crafting or crapping, not thick enough for crafting, too thick for using for notes and stuff. Recycling. Here we have a couple of character sheets from, these are character sheets from the Claricon game, the recap of which I'm currently editing, and I probably should be tonight, but I'm just too tired to edit. And the reason I have these character sheets and not the others is that I think all of the other ones died. It was a pretty deadly game. We lost at least three, maybe four. But I can't find because we had six players. I can only find 2 character sheets. I thought only 3 died, but maybe 4 died. I know I so we played it back in October. It took me a long time to get around to recapping it. I recorded the recap at the end of May, and I'm just finishing editing it now. So I've forgotten again what happened. You're welcome for the recommendation. No, I don't like Michael Myers. I don't like those movies at all. The opening, oh, okay, the sales to show the tales from the dark side. Enchantment does inspire play. It does, and play. You know what? In one sense, and I don't want this to sound flip. Um, Play is the highest form of liturgy, and liturgy is play. And what I mean by that is when little kids play, they're not taking things lightly. They're being deadly serious, right? When they play that there are, that they're pirates, or that there's pirates coming and they have to defend the house, or that they're exploring a jungle, they are there. The game is serious, and you can tell how serious it is because when kids get into arguments, it's generally because someone broke the play. Hello, Mage. Mage also will be at Claricon. And when someone breaks the play, they're breaking something very serious. Play is extremely serious, really. And I don't mean serious in the way that some gamers are like, you're not playing right, in you just refuse to allow there to be any, lightness. Um, but that we play, if we don't take the play seriously, we're not taking ourselves seriously, because play is the um, expression of that within us that defies logic, that defies materialism, that defies utilitarianism. It's the expression of that which in us, which is bigger than the material. And if we don't take that seriously, and I qualify the term seriously, I don't mean dour, but seriously, then we're not taking ourselves seriously. Let's say some won't touch seeing the pathway to the evil of the darkness. I have asked before in the past to those in the faith, some won't touch it, seeing it as a pathway to the evil or the darkness. Don't want it in their mind. They say, yeah, you know what? If you cannot see the shadow, you do not understand the light. I firmly believe if you can't acknowledge shadow, how on earth can you talk about light? Right? You have to acknowledge the shadows are there. Tales of the Crypt, Tales of the Dark Side, Dresden Files, etc. Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. I've never heard of that. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Thank you, Flint Fireforge. Yes, I am. I am live, and here's the paper and the pencil. It's pencil in this case because I've made mistakes. I wish I knew where I got this. This is a table of thief special abilities that someone did to make. I was born into it. I was a grown man before I even saw the sun. To de-nerf the thief in Beckme, because the Beckme thief is very nerfed. I have to say, some of this I might have started a little lower. I would still have had some of them maybe 20s, somewhere between the Beckme thief as written and this, because this I feel is a little generous to some of it. But it certainly makes more sense that as you don't have to wait till you're 30th level to be any good at picking pockets. Over the Garden Wall, yes, yes, yes. Yes, Flint Fireforge, check him out too. And Merlinster Ganderlore, Mage's Musings. Well, there's some things you wonder, like, really the thief just ends up being the guy who's going to get killed all the time, because if he goes to search for a trap and or to remove a trap and fails, he's dead usually. Um, Someone from Dragon's Foot wrote it. Cool, cool. Well, many thanks to that person. Um, Asking a fairy to basically bring someone back from dying. Cool, 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 cool. So this this was oh, here's the Star Fissure, something that Fleetwood put into the game, the Parish game. He took over DMing the Parish game, although I took it back for a while because he was stage managing the Tempest at his high school. He was a stage manager for the school show, so I took over because he was busy every night. But this was he was DMing this. This is the Star Fissure and all these cave systems. And this was our map, not his, but that's what I cobbled together from what he was doing. Oh, the monkey primate mural. Oh, good heavens. That was a nightmare. It's this mural, and the monkeys in the mural came out of the mural and attacked us as we walked through. A nightmare. Okay, so this is that. This is the Parish game stuff. Oh, we just did Isle of Dread as a kind of one shot. How do we run the online game? It is, I should come on by and find out. It's on the Discord for voice. We do voice over Discord on the patron channel, on the patron Discord server. And then generally if we need a map, if you know, when we're in combat or that kind of stuff, then we'll go to Owlbear Rodeo. Okay, this is the Parish game, and I have a folder for that. I'll put that down there. This is the Game Shop, not Game Shop game, and that's where. Where did I put it? There's where this map belongs. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Recently watched a Tenkar Tavern video where Tenkar said that he considers the thief stats last chance stats. Well, this is true. This is true. If you get creative, although how many times do you get to the thing? You know, I stand behind the chest and reach over and open it, and then you start designing traps that shoot out the back, right? Just to mess with them. I should write on here. This is. So that next time I'm running that game and I open this folder and I take Paprika, that's Malcolm's character, Paprika. The elves in the Game Shop game, anyone who plays an elf, they always take a spice as the name. So we have Paprika and Basil at the moment. We have gone through oregano and catnip as well. Oh, that was a underground thieves kind of last chance ditch place. Okay, I don't need this anymore. No, I don't need that anymore. It was a note from one of the players to the others, undercover, incognito. I don't know if I'll need this or not. Okay. Why do I have all this? Here are dead characters. Why am I keep carrying dead characters around? I don't need that anymore. There was a one of the characters was searching through. They'd rented a house, and the house had an attic, and the dwarf's always pushing buttons and pushing boundaries. He went into the attic looking to see what was up there, and I decided to put in. I had recently watched Amélie for like the 8th time, the French film, and in that the inciting incident of that movie is she finds a box of toys that a little boy has hidden inside the wall of the apartment and put a tile in the bathroom over it to cover the cavity. So I wanted to have A box, I just for fun, I'd throw in a box like some kid, because when I was a kid, I did the same thing. I'd have a little stash of stuff. I called them souvenirs and valeniers and walleniers and sylvaniers. Souvenirs, but I called them souvenirs. Um, and I had a little box they went in, and I kept it somewhere. So I decided that was be what was in the attic. Some kid had stuffed something in there, and um, and I came up with a list of things. And as I said them, to me, it sounded like the kinds of things a little kid would play with. But as I said them, they sounded creepy. A straw doll, a dozen acorns, three sparkling stones, like kind of have like quartz in them, and a top, a top dice, like a spinning top dice. So that it's got four, like a dreidel kind of thing, with strange symbols on the four sides. My thought was just toys. What would a kid in a medieval kind of world, what did I collect? Well, a doll, a dice, those are toys. And the acorns and the rocks are just things that the kid found and liked and so kept. They found that, and they found that so creepy. Well, it's supposed to be some sort of ritual. So I designed a ritual around it. I have with that group in particular, I very much follow a player-led model that if they meet a character and they decide that that character is evil, that character is evil. If they meet a character and they decide that character is trustworthy and good, that trust character is going to be trustworthy and good. And even if they later say, "Well, I don't know, maybe we can't trust her, maybe she isn't good," the initial, I don't do it always, but I do. Oh, thank you very much, uh, John Monk. Thank you very much. How do I put this on the screen? Um, I know on when I'm on. Maybe it just shows up in the up there. Okay. When I'm on StreamYard, which I'm not tonight, I can put it on my I can put it across the bottom of the page. Thank you very much. Fund for the dungeon, Mr. Pencil and Paper Fund. Bless you. Um, that's very kind of you. Thank you. Oh, this is the okay. This is the Dungeon Masters section from the expert rules. I printed an extra one. What I need is the players section. Okay. The cathedral in Belesior. This is the cathedral in that city. It's where the wicked bishop was. That's no comment on my bishop. Don't call the diocesan office, please. Oh, man. Look at the mapping. That's not mine. That's what they did. Nothing useful explored, they wrote. Let's see. I gotta scroll up because there was a question there that I've missed. If too personal, you don't need to answer. Do you run demons, devils, or undead in your game with your faith and all? Undead, yes. Demons and devils aren't part of BECMI. They do have some pretty gnarly creatures, some pretty evil things. And I absolutely would, because if they were part of BECMI, I would run demons and devils, because facing evil and defeating evil is part of the game. It's actually kind of the meat of it, right? Being able to make the moral choice, being able to stand courageously in the face of evil, and um, demons and devils are in the Bible, so clearly, just having them in the material can't be inherently evil, um, right? I think that it's perfectly rational to include them, so that facing great evil, your characters can display great courage and heroism and good. Watch Tankard video too, and I agree with him. Thieves' abilities are for next to impossible actions, like hiding in a desolate desert, like during a battle. Well, but that's not how they're. It's not how they're presented in the material, right? That's not how they're written. They're written as what the thief does, right? Um, well, you know what they. I don't think. I think there are very few people left Grandizer. I think there's very few people left who still think that that Dungeons and Dragons, etc., is going to lead you down the garden path to evil. Although I say very few, but there are some, and as evidenced by when Harry Potter came out, right? And people say, "Oh, it's the devil's work. It's going to lead you to witchcraft and this kind of stuff." And it's like it's a story. It's not a how-to guide of wizardry. It's a story, and if you read to the very end, profoundly influenced by Christianity. I mean, if this is a spoiler for you, I'm sorry, but you've had decades to have read the books. When Harry offers himself up to die for the sake of his friends, he goes to King's Cross Station. I mean, good heavens, King's Cross Station. Does she have to hit you over the head with it? He voluntarily dies, sacrifices himself to someone who is associated with snakes. He can speak to the snake because, of course, God creates the snake. So God can speak to the snake too. Harry can speak to the snake because he takes evil on himself and then dies, and that evil stays dead and he comes back. I mean, come on, does this remind you of anything? But people still, early on, of course, no one knew that was where the books were going, but still, like anyway. Okay, this is a more, I don't think any of this is needed anymore, though. Although I may hang on to it. Good heavens. This is pure scrap. That's pure scrap. That's keeping track of XP from monsters and etc. treasure, whatnot. Don't need that. Well, your mother's still one of those who believes that D&D, Harry Potter, and even Lord of the Rings are all satanic stuff. Wow. Lord of the Rings is so clearly Christian. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I didn't have cable growing up either. Well, I mean, fewer people did. 70s, 80s, fewer people had cable. And then I briefly had it when I went to university. Suddenly I had cable. And there were still only like 24 channels. They were clearer. It wasn't so much you got more channels. You did, but it was more that they were clear, crystal clear. Not ringing a bell, no. Oh, come on. Grandizer 12 watched the Dresser back on Sci-Fi Channel and the Jonathan Strange. Never heard of it on the DVDs. At the dollar store. Yes, Tolkien was a devout Catholic. In fact, he's part of the reason that C.S. Lewis converted to Christianity, and he was disappointed that Lewis went to Anglicanism rather than Roman Catholicism. Hey, thank you, Robert Stanton. You have a very good rest of your night, and I'll see you when I'm back on again. I will. I'm going to do this more often now. That's that. I should not let that be seen. It's the very, very beginnings of an adventure for my in-person game. That's no longer. That's Malcolm Tower. That's that. Okay. Remember that's in there. This all goes with. I don't know where it is right now. Okay. There's that. I don't know that this is ever going to come up again, but I'll stick it in the back in case it does. All right. Ray Bradbury Theater. Well, I'm old enough to remember the Twilight Zone. Neener, 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 neener. This all needs condensing into one easy to use to read. Okay, so this all needs to get condensed. This goes with a map that I can't find at the moment. This is for the parish game that we might. I don't think we'll come back to it. That actually, you know what? I don't need it. It's from. We just did Isle of Dread while Fleetwood was doing the stage management. We played Isle of Dread to cover the time, and I know it's blank graph paper, but it's bent, it's folded, it's written in one place. I can't save every piece of paper, people. I just can't. Okay, there. Hello, chat. George Egerog. George Egerog, am I saying that right? I don't know if I'm saying that right. As I was saying earlier, my eyesight is dodgy at best, and so reading things on the screen tonight has been an interesting experience. Okay, this can go over here, because that's really just recap and then back into the Claricon files. This, yes, is in here. Good. This, it's ripped. I've got 6 of them. I don't need more. Here we are. Here's a show I always recommend. It's not spooky or creepy or anything like that, so it doesn't fit in with the shows that other people have been recommending. But I always recommend it. The Detectorists. If you don't know The Detectorists, it's a British show, and it's charming and funny and whimsical, and it's just great. It's Mackenzie Crook and Toby Jones. Are the stars, and they're wonderful. They're simply wonderful. Okay. Now, this is for the parish game. That folder is where? This is not it. This is the Claricon folder. So I'll take those, put them in the Claricon folder. Good heavens. I am such a mess. Yeah, Detectorists is lovely. It is about 2 guys who go out with metal detectors, and it's charming. Okay, what's this? This is what? Oh no, this is the no. Is this the Claricon? No. Oh my gosh, this is my Dungeon 23 folder. Yeah, it is. And this is something I ran for Guac, the Drowned Library. Oh boy. You know what? I don't watch much TV. I have to tell you that. I don't watch a lot of TV. It's just hilarious because I do this. I participate in this monthly YouTube show, the Nerd Council of Doom, and we do pop culture review. And I really have seen so very little of it. Yeah, I actually don't. Hey, go to bed rest. It's great to see you. 20 hours. Go to sleep, Sean. Good heavens. Yeah, no, you know what? I used to watch. I mean, I used to be devoted to Star Trek and DS9 and all those kinds of things around that era. Obviously, I'm a bit young to have been watching the first round of Star Trek, but I watched Next Generation and DS9, and that's about where I fell off. DS9 was still on when I stopped watching, but again, that it lined up, that period lined up when I um, was in university and had a TV, had cable. So I was watching a lot of cable. This is Call of Cthulhu. These are things that Fleetwood made for last year's Claricon. Characters he made for that. I will ask him if he wants them. I don't think he will, because they're very specific to that adventure. But I guess he could run that adventure again. This is. Oh, that's about that. Okay. This is the defense of Akagmar. Just notes about troop strengths and what each group brings. I don't need that. We fought it already. Enchanted Forest random encounter table that I found somewhere online. I don't remember whose it was, but it's quite nice. Where would I put it though? Oh, I don't know. I don't have a sort of generic for everything for it. Yes, I did miss Voyager. Friday the 13th, the series. I didn't know there was one. Yeah, I don't have Netflix. I don't have Netflix. Yeah, well, I mean, this is it. I had been watching, 'cause again, I had cable because I was at university and the dorms had cable. And then when I rented an apartment off campus for my last 2 years, they had cable as well. I mean, you have to offer, students aren't going to rent a place without cable. um, well, yes, we would actually, we would have, but anyway. But then, oh, that's okay. Then, yeah, I just got busy. I started doing. Well, I was an actor when I first graduated university. I was an actor, and you just really can't. Well, here's that same thing done on a computer. Look at me, double doing my work. Yeah, you don't get a lot of time to watch a lot of TV when you're rehearsing one show and performing another one. So I just stopped watching. I really stopped watching TV at all for a while. The only thing I did watch would be I did watch sports then. That was when I was watching basketball. That was when I was following the Utah Jazz. Stockton to Malone. The greatest partnership in basketball history, bar none. I do remember when Fox started up. Oh, did you? You were a Trekkie all through. I enjoyed DS9. I really enjoyed it. It was a very different take, being stationary rather than mobile. When Fox started in the 1980s, Friday the 13th, one of the first. Okay. Wolf, I remember. Wolf, I remember. The other ones, I don't. I don't remember there being a War of the Worlds series. I do remember there being, what was it called? The Tripods. It was like a comic book thing or something. Comic book, or was it a thing in the newspaper, a Sunday newspaper comic strip? The Tripods. I really enjoyed that, but I could never get enough of it. Like I couldn't, whatever it was in, I didn't have a subscription, so I couldn't see every episode, every installment. But the few I saw, I really enjoyed. Hello, hello, LJ Emerson. If I'm reading that right, I may not be. Welcome, welcome. We are sorting through my DM's bag and trying to get things. So this is a contained adventure. I'm really quite proud of this one. It's a sunken library, the Drowned Library. It's an old monastery with a library in it that has been claimed by the sea, and the heroes are the call to action is when the heroes are in a pub, and a fisherman bursts in, crying that his son has been taken by a creature in the ocean. They were coming back off the sea in their boat, and the son was grabbed and drawn down, and the voice said, "Your son will serve the sea." And the old man tried, but was not unable to stop the creature from dragging. So then the heroes, you make sure that they're equipped with some water breathing spells and whatnot, and down they go. And when they get down here, they find that some magic cast by the clerics whose monastery this was, monks whose monastery this was, some magic they cast seals it, and there's breathable air inside. This is an outdoor courtyard, so there's breathable air here, but not in the middle. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's a lot of fun, and you get all sorts of critters in there. That was fun. It was fun. Oh my. Ijimi-san. Okay. Hello, Ijimi-san. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Where will I put this though? It's a complete. I need a place for. I do have a place for complete adventures. I do. Where is it? Well, right now it's going to be here, because that's what. Yeah, that's got that one too. Sure. I'm just piling up work from the future. What is this now? Oh, this was something for the parish group long ago when I started it and was DMing it. Some of the treasures they found. This actually ended up being a key. The statue is a key for one of the doors. Sort of like the One-Eyed Willie key that kind of fits on the door and then it would go against the door and turn. So another full adventure side is probably not worth. But you know what? You never know when you're going to need it. This is why I'm a pack rat. You never know when you might need a short little adventure, which is a lot of fun. That's why I have all this stuff. That's why I am going to be a hoarder, and people won't know that I've died until the smell makes it out into the hallway. Don't know what this even is. Scratch paper. It's clearly the family game. Touch Berry, Fleetwood, Bob, Johnny, Faux Fire, but don't know. These are pre-generated characters. Pre-generated characters. Okay. Where did I put my where is the Claricon folder? There it is. It's down there. Good heavens. So these are generated on that Watabu. He has a whole dungeon generator. You can click it and it generates a whole dungeon. I never use the contents because the contents are very strange. A rear entrance into the catacombs, a huge double door in the northern wall. A large pile of rubble hides a bottle of wine and a helm. A crate containing some gold. A weird made of an unknown material. Weird made of a. It's been cut off. Here we go. This is more representative. 1. A bird-shaped key locked in a mechanical safe. A battered door with 2 keyholes in the north. A giant pile of rubble hides a scarf and a sword. A dying thief, a bird-shaped key among his belongings. And this, for decades, the observatory was considered lost. Currently is badly infested by pigs. What? Rumors say that a legendary compass, Karapanakis, is still hidden here. Everything is always infested by something. It's very strange. Quark. Yeah. Don't worry about it, Graham. There is no main conversation. I just finished a session recap from your last game. Excellent, Sonic. Good night. Hey, have a good night. Yeah, and now when I say I remember Wolf, I remember that it existed, and I watched it a couple times. I don't remember much about it. It was a while ago, but yes, I do remember that show being on. Judge Brimstone. Ooh. You know what? I have one better than a robotic AI. I have a wife who is not at all sentimental, so I can't save too much. I'm not allowed to. Here we go. The tomb of Hackus is situated on a lonely island. Lately, an undead spectral turtle has made its home here. These are things, the reason I have these is when I first started the Parish game, they are very chaotic. I mean, super chaotic. And I would have these in case they just veered off somewhere. I at least had some idea of a dungeon. I mean, you can make it up on the spot if you want. I mean, this is not that brilliant. It's not some sort of integrated design, but I would at least have something if they went somewhere and okay, great, I'll just do something with it. I'd have it and then I could fill it in as we went. Right. Um, well, robotic AI, like you mean a physical robot would not help me at all. It would just get in the way, I think. Um, in terms of AI, in my job, my actual jobby job, as a priest, I don't think it would help me at all. It's like exactly the opposite of what I need because the job is entirely human connection, the real, and so AI would kind of thwart that. But it might help to like organize things. I suspect it could help more in the matters temporal, right? The things that have to get done around a parish because it is a physical place in a physical, in a temporal world. But okay, these are more Claricon. Oh my gosh, back to the first Claricon. Bucket the magic user. Oh, good night, Mad Knight. Midnight's hitting the sack at midnight. You have a good one. You have a good one, sir. I hope to see your channel, pop back up to life soon. There's good stuff over at Midnight's Lair. I can relate as well. Many binders and file boxes with old papers, game stuff, character sheets. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. An AI priest don't have to go to the church or stay at home in bed. Somehow I don't think that would fly. I really don't. I really don't. Parish game. Where? Why can't I find the parish game stuff? Is that? What have I done? And I mean that. What have I done? I don't know what I've done. It's not. That's all. Heavens for Claricon. Yeah. The closest I came to being able to stay in bed on a Sunday morning was during lockdowns when a lot of my colleagues did live streaming. Oh, what's this? Another thing. Good heavens. How many maps do I have? Would do live streaming of a Sunday morning liturgy, either alone in the church or from their home. I did not want to do that. Oh, I know this was from last year's. This is a map from last year's Claricon. That was awesome. Daxon and his buddy played in that. They were a lot of fun to play with. They were good players, smart players. I didn't want to do that. I wanted things, and just too much of a perfectionist. I wanted things to be prepped and ready and done. So I did pre-recorded videos, which is how I learned how to do video editing, which is how I got to doing the YouTube channel. So on Sunday morning, I'd be done. I'd have been done like on Thursday and had it uploaded and ready, and it would go live Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. So I would be in bed as I was preaching a sermon, in a way. Oh my gosh, look at all this. Oh, and the character sheets for the people. Look how organized I was. Cool. Cool. Okay. This is the Claricon folder. There we are. Oh, this is the dungeon. You know what it is? The Dungeon 2023 became the Game Shop, because originally I was playing the Dungeon 23 game with the Game Shop folks. And this red folder, which is now the Game Shop game, was the Parish game. So what I need is another folder. That's what I need. And I have another folder. Yay. Okay. That's what happened. I swapped out Dungeon 23. There. That'll go there with the Game Shop game. Claricon can go on the shelf if I'm not going to do it right away. It's not until October. Let's see. I'm going to pop up here. Ouch. Let's see. Deviation to Star Wars D6 as a palate cleanser. Excellent. Father Dowling Mysteries and the episodes he's giving mass. That can be used in place for missing a Sunday. I don't think so. Jericho, great pop series. I remember when Jericho was on, but I never watched it. Yeah, Renee Aubergine. That's not a eggplant in the UK. Is Jericho around the same time as what was the one? Not Stargate. It was another space station one. What was it? It was another space station based one. I can't remember what it was. I watched a few episodes, but I never quite got into it. Yeah, he was everywhere. Renee was. Benson. Yes, Benson. I watched that show as a kid. I love that. There was the show where I can't remember what was going on. They were stranded somewhere, and the only thing they had to consume for food or drink was some warm beer. And it was the time when the taste great, less filling ads were on, and they're drinking this beer. You go, oh, no taste. And the other one says, oh, it's so filling. It's such a stupid joke. Such a cheap joke. But that was a fun show. Babylon 5, thank you. Babylon 5. Yeah, I watched a few episodes but couldn't really get into it. I might have been sci-fi'd out by that point. I think I was sort of done. So I didn't and again I was, because I think that it was the 90s, wasn't it? Babylon 5. Yes, paid advertising in that episode for sure. It was more subtle back then. Now it's not subtle at all. Unlike the taste of black fly, subtle and smooth, perfect for a day grilling out. Ah, so good. Thanks, black fly. And what was I saying? Oh, well. I'm sure if I ever got a sponsorship offer, it would be like from Pediatric Shoe Company or Pudding Cups or something. I like the pudding cup. I don't need my teeth. Okay. Purple folder. Catch all. resources, things I want to use, purple folder. Okay. Ah, shoot. Red folder. Red leader, standing by. Not mid 90s. Okay. So yeah, I would have been university, would have been 91 to 95. Yeah. So it probably came out just around when I no longer had cable. I ain't watching it. I don't have cable. Yeah. Yeah. All right. And effect shows when you're watching on rabbit ears and the picture is iffy, effect shows are kind of like it's pointless, right? Um, I like Columbo. I watched a lot of Columbo. That was on the yeah, one of the local affiliates. They broadcast it. They're it's got I got can I borrow a pencil? Yeah. That's a bad Columbo, but it's the only one I've got. Okay, scrap paper. I'm just going to stick in here loose because then I'll see it and use it instead of carrying it around for the next 50 years. Remember Kojak guy. All right. Same series, I believe. It was a mystery series that had a number of different detectives in rotation. Columbo was one of them, and Kojak was one of them, and was Cannon one of them? Cannon may have been one of them. Tinfoil, yeah, tinfoil. Well, we had little flags, little tinfoil flags. Good night, Stephen Davies. Yeah. Streets of San Francisco might have been on, maybe. Yeah, there were. You know what? I have a book. Just noticing all sorts of chip crumbs on my shirt. Black shirts show everything. I'll be right back. Where is it? Here we go. Okay. The Columbo file. There, angle it. I don't know that the Rockford Files was in. It might have been. Let's see. Levison and Link are the creators. Well, yeah. Let's see. They put it into rotation with these other ones because it was too involved. A lot of those shows were too involved to write every. The radio Matt Dillon. Oh, the TV show Cannon. Yeah, the crime drama. Yeah, it was a rotation of things. Isn't it fascinating to watch an aging man look for information in a book? Is that a good live stream? Sorry. Yeah. Was part of a alternating with McLeod, McMillan and Wife, and a fourth slot that was difficult to keep occupied. Heck Ramsey, Amy Prentice, McCoy. So yeah, it wasn't any of the big ones. Kojak and Cannon and all those. They held their own on their own in their own slots. But McLeod, McMillan and Wife, and then a Heck Ramsey, Amy Prentice, McCoy. But it was always the mystery. It was an NBC mystery movie, weekly mystery movie. So you get a Columbo every 4 weeks, and they were insanely complicated um, to write, and so they just couldn't get them out enough. Simon and Simon. My mother did semi-professional. She was professional, but not equity. She wasn't union. She did some professional theater, and she did a show with one of the Simons, Jameson Parker, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. She didn't. She didn't play the. There's a couple at the heart of it, Brick and then Maggie. She didn't play Maggie. She played the other woman in the cast. But yeah, hung out with Jameson. Hung out with one of the Simons. That's my brush with fan. That, and I was in a show with the Master from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Mark Metcalf. Also, Niedermeyer in Revenge of the Nerds, and also the Maestro on Seinfeld. Great guy, lovely fellow, really lovely guy. Yeah, phone of the Lennon wife. Yeah. Anacek. It is a good pull from the archive. Oh, well, there you go. William Conrad. Used to work for real life Simon and Simon private detectives and bodyguards extraordinaire. Really? Father Aaron mystery. Yeah, the mystery is, where did I put my glasses? I know that information's in here somewhere. Where is it? What is this paper for? That's the mystery. It's me just trying to figure out daily life. It would fascinate me, I suppose, but yeah. The Night Stalker. Yes. Remember when there was a series of movies with super vehicles? It started with Knight Rider, but then it was Airwolf and was it Street Hawk, the motorcycle? There was the car, there was a car, there was a helicopter, motorcycle. Airwolf, of course, was kind of a knockoff Blue Thunder, because the Blue Thunder movie had come out. Kind of doing a knockoff of that, Airwolf. I think it was Street Hawk. I think was it Street Hawk. It was Street Hawk. Yeah, that was a fun one. And the music, I think Airhawk was bum ba da da dum ba da da dum dum da dum 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 da dum da dum ba da 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 da. We'll see how good my singing is if I get a copyright strike for that. Yes, all those old theme songs. I was looking up the theme songs to old 80s cartoons like the Inhumanoids and the Visionaries, and of course Transformers and G.I. Joe, but Mask, um, uh, Jason the Lightning League. I mean, these are some obscure and really very bad cartoons. They're not good cartoons. And they're all very formulaic. I mean, there's some gimmick. So the Inhumanoids, it's the big monsters and the medium monsters and the guys in suits. It's kind of a gimmick. Each suit has some different property, so you can sell 4 of them, right? And with Mask, little guy, mask pops on, vehicles transform from one vehicle to another vehicle. They didn't turn into robots. It was like from a motorcycle to a helicopter kind of thing. And then in the Insectoids, is that what Insectoids, I want to say it was. Yeah, they just had a gimmick, and they just cranked out toys and TV shows loosely based on the toy. Automan. Oh man. Jake and the Fat Man. Yes. PH, so you don't have to worry about the F word. Jason the Wheeled Warriors wasn't Lightning League. Yeah, it was like it was this aspirational. There's a power deep inside of you. I can't remember the tune anymore, but yeah, I remember Inhumanoids. It was gruesome, especially the decay. I can't remember his name. His name might have been DK. he was gross. I remember an episode where he shoved someone in his rib cage thing, and they melted down into this mutant. It was really, really gross. It was really gross. I'll say the F word because I am the fat man. I'm gonna put this book back. I'll be right back. Whoa. Oof. Yeah, I mean, it was interesting stuff. It was interesting stuff. It was engaging, and as a kid, I mean, gross was in, like that was all the thing. Decompose. Yep. Tendril. I had a tendril, the big toy. I was an only child, so I had a lot of big stuff. I had the Millennium Falcon. I had an AT-AT. I had all the stuff. Um, but yeah, the de I never wanted Decompose. And I didn't like what was it, Meglar? It wasn't Megatron, that's Transformers. I didn't like the leader of the Inhumanoids, the kind of devil looking one, because he was pot bellied. He just looked out of shape. I didn't like him. Now I am pot bellied and out of shape. I identify with him now. But I liked Tendril. He was cool. He was Metlar. Metlar. The rock guys were cool too. Then there were the trees, the wood and the rock. Yeah. You remember it's Battle Beasts? Little guys, they had like they're anthropomorphic animals like rhinoceros head, but armor, big chunky armor, and then they had a hologram, a heat sensitive hologram. And you'd touch it to reveal water, fire, or wood. And it was like rock, paper, scissors. Wood floats on water, water puts out fire, fire burns wood. And you'd play games like, ooh, let's see who wins. And you'd heat it up and oh, I chose water, you chose wood. Oh, darn, I lose. Which is stupid because after you play it 3 times, what, unless your friend has like 50 of these things, you know what each, that the rhinoceros is fire, that he has. Maybe the rhinoceros you have is wood, but the one he has is fire. You know that because you've been burned by it before. So just play rock, paper, scissors, kids. They were fun. And muscles. Mussels. Remember mussels? Millions of unusual small creatures lurking everywhere. Little pink guys. I loved those. I loved those. The copyright has run out on Inhumanoids. Oh my. The reds on the trees. Yeah. The symbols on the chest, you press it and they would oh man. It was rough. The other day I was the other year really. It was just months and months, probably years ago now. I was at a toy store though, buying something for the boys before Christmas, and they had a deck of cards that was rock, paper, scissors. I kid you not. At least with the Battle Beasts, the toys were cool looking, and they had vehicles that transformed. I had the big shark, it would fold out. By that point, I was buying my own toys. I was buying toys and playing with toys much later than I really should have been. Thundercats, Silverhawks, Tiger Sharks. Again, like those vehicle ones, you just pick a you pick a gimmick and go with it, right? Um, but the cards, like honestly, you shuffle. Oh, I'm going to play water. Just do. Come on. And to you, and to you. It is bizarre. Yeah. Star Blazers. Do you remember? Yeah, Silverhawks with it flying through the space, and they had the Dino Riders. Well, I think what they have is Jurassic Park fatigue. I mean, you'd hope they did, because crying out loud. TTFN. Ta-ta for now. I do a better poo than Tigger. I don't do Tigger very well. I'm not bouncy enough. But I have the physique for Pooh now. Gotta collect those toys, Dino Riders. They're expensive. Yeah. I thought there was a knockoff Transformers. They turned into like bugs, and I had a bug and a bat. I found them on eBay a while ago. I can't remember what the name was for them, but they were really kind of cool. I liked those better than my Transformers, I think. Spiral Zone. Don't know it. Not GoBots. They were bigger. They were like the beetle was probably about that big. It was a beetle. There was I remember the Orbots. Go, mighty Orbots. Um, there was a bat. They were kind of cheap. There was a giraffe or something. It was bizarre. And then I found years later, I was at seminary and a friend's birthday party, and I bought him a real gift. But then I happened to be walking on Spadina. There's a Chinatown there, and there's these stores that sell the cheapest garbage on earth. And I found this. It was a transformer robot that turned into a giraffe. And it made me think of the movie Big, where he's like, "Who wants to play with a building? And who wants to play with a giraffe?" But it was labeled Ultimate Being Deer. Ultimate Being Deer. It's a giraffe, wasn't a deer, but it's just bizarre. Maybe converters. I don't know. I don't know Retromaniac, James. I don't know. I wish I did. It wasn't the Beast Wars Beetle. I know they did have Insecticons later. But this was a separate line. I don't know what it was. It may have been connectors, converters rather. Yeah, the Mighty Orbots, which was like a knockoff Voltron, right? It was like a cheapo Voltron. Um, yeah, and of course Thundercats. Thundercats was huge and had a sort of sense of Greek tragedy about it, right? I mean, the destroyed civilization, Jaga, the wise old mentor. But I mean, really, it's just Superman. It's so many. The whole idea of the whole world being destroyed and just a handful of people escaped. Like we were really worried about nuclear annihilation, right? In the 80s and early 90s. We were really worried about that. It tells on a society's psyche, doesn't it? Micronauts, they were awesome, you're right. Was Orbots before Voltron? Yeah. There was, yeah, owl, bat, scorpion. I don't know I didn't have a scorpion. I had the owl, the bat, and the beetle. Yeah. And there was something earlier, early 80s, really, really small little people, like plastic molded in seated positions, and you'd slide them in the cockpits, and it was like a mechanical robot dinosaur. It didn't have skin or anything. It was just somewhere between Lego and Connects or something. It was way before those, though. Not Lego, but before Connects. And you'd build, and you'd have a little wind-up motor that would go in there, and it would walk along. But the head would be a little cockpit with a guy in it. Thundar the Barbarian. When I was really little, I watched that when I briefly lived with my father at my grandparents, his parents' house. My parents had divorced, and I went with him. And he lived, well, first I went with my mother briefly, and then I went with him. And then he got back on his feet and bought a house, and we moved out. But that was back when you could just buy a house, and people could just afford a house and groceries and things like that. Anyway, while we were staying for a few months at my grandparents' house, Thundar the Barbarian would be on. And they had their TV was in the corner, and there was this box next to it with a big dial. And you'd turn that dial, and then you would hear the antenna on the roof was turning. The dial told it what direction to go to. Man. Which was first by a month? I don't know. I don't know. But Orbots was like a goofy version, a slightly goofy version of Voltron. Like the robots were rounded, or the vehicle, I don't know, whatever. They were rounded. But then they somehow became a but the Voltron was more like, we are taking our Voltron took itself more seriously, right? It was more like, we are serious robot warriors, robot lion warriors being piloted by serious people. And Orbots was more goofy. World of Sorcery. My heavens. Oh, Visionaries. The idea that technology fails and so now magic rules the world. What a crazy, crazy show. They all had these big staffs with a sign on it. They could make the whatever's in the sign. It was just holograms. Like holograms were big, so they had holograms. They had something on their chest, which was their totem animal. Then they had a staff. That one of them had like an archer. He'd plant the staff, and the archer would come out of the staff and shoot an arrow. Took a long time, cartoon wise. It was a process. It's not great for sneak attacks. No, no, I have not. I've not seen the Japanese version. I know almost all of the cartoons we watched in the 80s were originally Japanese. That sometimes they didn't even make a new cartoon. They just redid the voices, because why not? I mean, the animation on those was generally so, very few frames per second comparatively. It wasn't like a Disney film where there's lots of frames per second, and so the mouth actually looks like it's saying the things it's saying. It was just, open, close, open, close, open, close. See, it could be any language. You could have the thing say anything. Yeah. I did enjoy the D&D cartoon. I did. I did. Yeah, the holograms seeing the magic beast they could call out to help them. But they had that in their chest. They also had the sign. Um, Am I really a father? With Rome, do mass, hear confessions. I am really a father in two ways. I am an Anglican priest, which is just like Roman Catholic, except without a pope. There's a number of, it's actually, I say that glibly, but there are a number of differences that have grown out of not having a pope and not having the magisterium. So some differences between the two. I do say mass. I do hear confessions. Um, Weddings and funerals, not bar mitzvahs, but I'm also a father in the other sense that I am literally a dad to three boys who play in my D&D game, and yeah. Wow, yeah, you were suffering with the satanic panic there too, eh? Yeah. Um, People actually died in the Japanese Voltron. Awesome. Um, Yeah, no, my grandmother was very, very, very churchy. My mother's mother, very churchy. Um, and never never said boo about me playing D&D. She read C.S. Lewis, she read Tolkien. She knew calling all heathens. Calling all heathens. Yeah, Anglicano. I had been an atheist when I was a teenager, because teenagers know everything. And I moved in across the street from the Episcopal Cathedral in Milwaukee, All Saints Cathedral. And I moved in because I liked the view. I fancied myself a writer. I was going to be a writer, and I wanted an inspiring view. It's a gorgeous place. The cathedral and the bishop's manse and the guild hall that connects them, and a courtyard full of garden beds and everything. Beautiful. So I moved in there, and then I would see the people going in and out on a Sunday morning. I'd usually see them going out of church because I was asleep when they went into church. But for the 11 o'clock, I'd see them going in and out, or 10 o'clock. Um, but yeah, it was yeah, long story on how I got into the church. But so calling all heathens was me. I had to keep my D&D books in a bag in the car. Wow. Here's a joke I can no longer tell. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. I'm just in here to develop. uh, um, no, 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 no. The Anglican Church is part of the General Reformation um, in the 1500s. In our case, though, it was not. It was not originally. Well, okay. Henry VIII wanted to get a divorce or an annulment. He happened to be married to Catherine of Aragon, um, Spanish. The Spanish king had an army parked outside the Vatican, essentially, had great influence over the Pope. And so the Pope couldn't, the Spaniards were like, no, the Spanish king's like, no, you're not annulling his niece. You're not annulling my niece's marriage. No, you're not doing it. And the Pope says, but I'm the Pope. I can do what I want. And the Spanish king said, no, you can't. I've got an army. You can't. So he didn't. And royal annulments and divorce, that was done all the time because it was understood that it wasn't just your personal life, it was the fate of a nation. But in this case, the Pope refused. And Henry said, well, I'm going to do it anyway, because Henry didn't like people telling him he couldn't do anything. He was a very power hungry kind of guy. So at the same time, though, the Reformation had been brewing away on the continent, and actually Henry had earned the title the Defender of the Faith by writing a very strong defense of the Catholic faith, of the Catholic Church, of the papacy. So he was given the title Defender of the Faith, and then later he goes into this whole, I want to get a divorce thing, but I'm a defender of the faith. Come on. So it's not granted. He does it anyway, and he's surrounded by churchmen who want to join the Reformation. They want to, they wouldn't say they were breaking from the church. They would say they were reforming the church where it was, right? So they pushed for more of a break, and they kind of paved the way for Henry to exercise his ego and call himself, and this is fabulous, supreme governor and head. It's the supreme head of the church in England. And they use the argument that he was an emperor, and no one is above an emperor, right? Like the emperor used to choose the pope, and the pope would crown the emperor, right? So there was kind of like holding each other in check. But the Holy Roman Emperor, the claim that Cromwell made, was that he's an emperor. So based on that claim, they said that no, the emperor is the head of the church in England. It's a specious claim to be emperor because he wasn't an emperor at the time. Victoria was later, but he wasn't. But anyway, the church, the English church, split its authority structure. In Henry's time, very little changed about the church. The liturgy and the scriptures were put into English, into the common language, but that was about it. Later, after his death, the church would then go back and forth between the Reformation and the Roman Catholic Church, the Protestant and Roman Catholic, back and forth until Elizabeth said, enough. We're going to find a middle ground between the two, and that's where we'll sit. It was basically to hold the country together because it was tearing itself apart. And that has been Anglicanism ever since, kind of holding the middle ground. So we have bishops and priests and deacons. We have, the Eucharist is the primary Sunday liturgy. So every week and on holy days, etc., and any time we care to, we're having Mass. We celebrate all 7 of the sacraments, although some Anglicans will specially separate out baptism and communion as above the others. So there's a lot of, in fact, even in Marian doctrine, in official church doctrine, there's very little difference. There's a few major bits, but there's mostly 90% the same doctrine on the Blessed Virgin Mary and the communion of the saints. That said, in practice, the Roman Catholic Church has more emphasis on the saints. And among the laity, Mary is far more important among the Roman Catholic Church than it is than she is in Anglicanism, but officially it's very, very, very similar. Um, the major differences I would say have really grown in the modern era. Uh, yeah. So you've never played D&D? Well, you know what? Yeah, Anglican is the Church of England. Anglican means English. Yeah. Except in the United States where it's Episcopal because you can't call your church the English church when you've just kicked the English out. It's not good politics. They called it the Episcopal for bishops, Episcopon. Had religious instruction as a child, yes. Although the religious instruction that the church provided in the 70s and 80s was not great, right? Um, it was a lot of people trying very hard. God bless them. And I wish I knew the man's name so I could go back and apologize, but he's probably dead now. Um, my mother remarried. My parents divorced. My mother remarried, and she married a man who was Mormon, and she kind of started going back to church. She hadn't been going to church. She started going back to church to inoculate me because she didn't like that church, that religion. But so she had me in these classes, and I had just been given a book all about evolution, and I was talking about that at this church class, and the teacher said, You're calling me a monkey." And I said, "Well, you're calling me a dirt ball." The ball of earth and Genesis, and that was my last day in class. I was I was asked to leave. Oh, well, God bless that man. He just is at the limit of it. And the funny thing is people then, um kids who I went to school with were in that class, and the story went around school that I'd called the teacher a dirt ball. So no, I said he's calling me a dirt ball, but that nuance was lost on people. I did not call anyone a dirt ball. Oh, you're very welcome. Hello, Brian, 9670. Oh, well. Nerd, but not a D&D nerd. It's the 1970s. I got bullied from the two fronts. Oh, the jocks and the popular people, and the nerds who played D&D because I didn't get it, could not get into it. Good heavens. You couldn't win for losing, eh? I imagine it would not be. I imagine it would not be. For me, it was just another tool for imagination, right? It was a tool for imagination. I'm taking questions. I'll take questions. Sure. Thanks for dropping in. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, I find that if I start streaming at around 10:30, um, people who already know my channel will come by. They'll see that they'll see the note that I'm going to be streaming, and then they'll come in. And then if I stay on long enough, all sorts of people drop in. Some people who are channel viewers, some people who are just kind of skimming YouTube for some live streams. Yeah, they like rock or disco, and I loved both. Well, you know what? I do too. I do too. You know what the funny thing is, because we homeschooled our children up until well, we homeschool them, and then when they reach high school age, they kind of have a choice. Do you want to go to high school? Do you want to not? Um, Fleetwood has gone to high school. He regrets it. It's not been a great experience, but he's sticking with it because he's a stick to it kind of guy. And Touchberry is waffling. But anyway, because of that, they've not grown up with um, contemporary kid culture. So they've grown up as if it's still the 80s. Because we're showing them 80s films, 80s shows, that's what we watch. And the other day, I was sitting here realizing the music was coming down from upstairs, and Fleetwood's got, it's an online thing. He's using one of the devices that sit in the corner and listen to you. I don't want to say its name because there's one over there. And he's playing, he's playing the Eagles. He's playing Fleetwood Mac. He's playing AC/DC. He's playing all these 80s, playing Duran Duran. It's like it's the 80s in this house. You were looking up Calling All Heathens? Yeah. Morning, Dirty Basement. Hey, Dirty Basement, you are up early, my friend. How can you be up at this point? You live in my time zone. Dude, Dude, DBT, check out his channel. He has got great stuff. Okay, so I'll take the easier one first. Smudge animation. I don't think so. The Anglican Church doesn't make a lot of big and official pronouncements because of the way we're structured. We have dioceses, and the bishop is the head of the diocese, and the diocese is the um, largest unit of the church, really. The national church is really a collection of dioceses that get together for organization and to do big stuff. But unlike Rome, the Pope can say, okay, from now on, this is how we're going to do the Mass, right? And everyone's, okay, this is how we're doing it. Like Benedict the 16th said, we're now allowing the use of a freer use, a greater use of the Latin Mass. And so people started doing the Latin Mass, right? Um, the Anglicans aren't like that. The Archbishop of Canterbury can't say this is how things are going to be. Each individual bishop. So there's less of a monolithic, right? Um, they do occasionally make statements about things, um, but I was not an Anglican in the 70s or 80s, so I don't know how they reacted to the Satanic Panic. They certainly wouldn't anymore. I mean, I think even the Baptists are hosting D&D night at their parishes, at their congregations. So justifying the support for slavery found in Scripture. Um, you've That's an enormous question, but here's the beginning of an answer. I'm not going to claim to have a definitive. Um, First of all, uh, Scripture is not one book. The Bible isn't one book. It's several books. Some of them tell you um, the story of something that happened. First Samuel, Book of Kings, First, Second Kings. Um, that is stories of things that happened. The Exodus is partly story of thing that happened. Um, Woven through there is also uh, laws and guidance and commandments. Okay, so first understanding that much of what is read is contextual. This is the law for these people here. Um, and understanding that the world is a very, very, very different place. Although people were the same, the way people organized themselves was very different. Also, the understanding of slavery was different. Um, it was something that it was not. It was still slavery by all means. It was absolutely slavery, but it was not the chattel slavery that American history would be familiar with. So its its underlying assumptions were different. Um, Now that said, you would still call that something that belongs where it lived and does not belong here, right? It is of its time and is not one of the things that you then transport forward. However, every bit of scripture is written for instruction and you can find wisdom in it. So, what you find in there is there are limits to what one can do to one's slaves, right? You are restrained in some ways. There are proper ways to do these things. And while that may feel like splitting hairs now, it is the beginning of a sense of justice, which would eventually lead um, Christians to abolish slavery, right? It would eventually lead people of faith to the abolition of slavery. So that would, it's not something that you would read and say, I am going to go do this literally laid out, but which you read and have to understand, which is why, I mean, I'm speaking as an Anglican. We we hold as so Rome would say that the papacy and the magisterium teaches us our faith, and a more reformed tradition, Baptist or whatever, would say Scripture teaches us our faith. Anglicans, sitting in the middle, say both. We hold Scripture as the Word of God, read through the tradition. So when you read Scripture, you don't read it alone, nakedly, just the words on the page. You read it in light of, what did Origen say about this? What did St. John Chrysostom say about this? How did Catherine of Siena interpret this? You read it with the tradition as well, remembering what has been said about this particular passage through the ages. And then the third bit is reason. So scripture, tradition, and reason. You read the scriptures through the tradition using your reason. And so your reason will tell you, okay, we don't keep slaves. What wisdom can I find in this passage that still speaks to me now, in light of the tradition, and not ignoring the text? Because people who skip over the bits they don't like are just leaving those bits to be read, interpreted, and taught by people with whom they disagree, right? So honestly, wrestling with the scripture through the tradition, using your reason, right? Um, that's a beginning of an answer. That's a beginning of an answer. You have an early inspection to do, and you got to drop off food for the street cats. Dirty basement terrain, DBT, um, every day feeds stray cats. And this is a guy who looks like he's sort of a tough, hey, yeah, biggest marshmallow in the world. Uh, I was in Canterbury Cathedral shortly after coming back to the faith when I was sensing a call to the priesthood. I took a sort of pilgrimage to the UK and I visited Salisbury Cathedral, which is gorgeous and still one of my favorite places on earth. Winchester Cathedral, fabulous. Longest nave in Europe, I believe, and a cathedral that almost sank into the ground. It had to be underpinned because it was built on a raft of logs in a marsh, and it was just starting to fail. The weight of the cathedral above was pushing down, and a diver, a single person, a single man went under. Not single, he was married, but I mean single is the only one of them. Went down into the water because the water table's right there under the ground in Winchester. He had to go down in a diving suit, and this is like, what was it, the 20s or 30s or something, or the teens. It was forever ago. I forget when it was, but he had the hose connecting him to the surface and the big steel. He had to go down and lay bags of cement, which like a Portland cement, which would harden underwater. He had to lay them hand by hand and underpin the cathedral with his own two hands. Amazing, amazing. In Winchester, I went to Chichester Cathedral, a small cathedral but beautiful, where Saint Richard of Chichester was, who had the wonderful prayer, may I know you more clearly, love you more dearly, and follow you more nearly." A lovely prayer. And then on to Canterbury, wonderful. So I'm in Canada, just outside of Toronto. Yeah, about an hour, hour and a half out. Well, Brian, slavery was practiced everywhere, right? It was practiced everywhere at the time. In fact, it is really only since the 1800s that it hasn't been, that that and actually it still is today in parts of the world. It still is today. One of the tragedies of the sort of collapse of some of the authoritarian and admittedly brutal authoritarian regimes of the Middle East and North Africa. Part of the tragedy of that, though, was that it opened um, it opened up the possibility of slave markets again, which, for all of the bad they did, the authoritarian regimes had stopped. But slavery was practiced for all of human history. And so the prescriptions around slavery in the Old Testament are about um, taking a practice which was there in a reality of the world, and fencing it, and um, attempting to put around it some sense of moderation and responsibility. I mean, it was the kind of thing where if the proclamation had been "Don't do it," it would have been ignored. I suspect. I I didn't live in that era, but it was not something that was, like, unique, right? It didn't come out of Scripture. And so what you see in Scripture is actually an attempt, although to our modern eyes, it doesn't look that way. It was actually an attempt to moderate and um, uh, to make less horrid the conditions of slavery, right? Um, it's you know, no, it's not. It would not be. It would not be a God given right. Again, um, in our perspective, it would absolutely not be. But that perspective is a modern one. It's a sad reality of human history. Um, but again, I would say it's a sad reality of the modern world as well, because there are places where slavery is still practiced. Um, even forms of slavery that are practiced in our own world under our own noses. You know, human trafficking and sex slavery still happens. Um, it's been huge um, revelations and horrible ones in the UK in the last couple of decades, for instance. So, sending a goodie box for Claricon. You rock, DBT. You rock. You rock. What is the next change? Well, we don't know. Revelation is not closed, right? No, not some slavery is okay in our world. No, but take a world in which slavery was unlimited. There was no check on what the master could do and be, socially acceptable. There was no check on any of that. There was no notion of any control, any moderation of behavior. Uh, and that's a pretty awful world, right? Uh, and that was the world. That it wasn't. Again, it's not like people looked at the Bible and said, "Oh, look, we can go have slaves." It already existed, and so part of what those passages of Scripture are doing is, again, attempting to somehow um, lessen the inhumanity of it. Again, by our standards and by later standards, it doesn't look like it's gone anywhere near far enough. But this is the same. Uh, this is the same set of scriptures that remember, you're talking Exodus, in which a people are liberated from slavery, right? And make a journey into freedom. So that's probably instructive. It is a journey. And the tradition would look back at those passages and read them very differently, right? Not reading them as an instruction manual. You're reading in them, what wisdom can I derive now from those passages? What medicine can I find in it? Now, it's not special times like, oh, it's Christmas, we can have slaves. It's just an acknowledgement of the reality that that was the world in all faiths, in all traditions. It wasn't like that was the world within Judaism. It was that was the world. Pagans, Zoroastrians, everyone. Right? Well, again, all I can tell you is compared to what the world's practices at the time were, it was something. You know, it doesn't mean it doesn't make it again. Doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it right now. It doesn't even make it right then. But it is a move toward. The Exodus is literally a journey, right? From slavery into freedom. That's what that book is about. So that's part of the journey. You've got to take the first step before you take the second step, right? And it was also used, I have to say, it was also used later on to justify great evils. Absolutely was. Absolutely was. Again, it is of its time, and not something that you then look at and say, oh, well, this is an instruction manual for how to live. I'm going to go get some slaves. You have to read it, well, again, with tradition and reason on your, in your corner as well. Yeah. Oh, it is now 1 a.m, folks. And I do have to go to work tomorrow. So I think I'm going to go to bed. Yes, it is still a living book, because it is not about how we read it. It is how it reads us. And if we read it and it reads us back and causes us to have a passion for justice, it's a living book. It is a living book. It is still a text which speaks. And you're going to work, good heavens, at 1 a.m. DBT, how do you do it? Probably by going to bed at about like 8 or something. God bless you. And all of you, have a good rest of your night, everybody. I think I have all my D&D stuff relatively organized now. I have to find another. Oh, I was going to get another folder for the parish game stuff. That's the car. I need that for the car. I thought I had other folders up in here. I thought I had other folders. Oh, here we go. Yeah, from when the furnace was put in. Yeah, you too. And I'm gonna get my parish stuff in a folder, and I'm gonna call it a night. Actually, I have to take the dog for a walk, but after that, good night, everybody. Have a good one. All right, and I'll see you on the flip side. Bye.